I want to talk about full and complete freedom because sometimes that gets lost in the mix. See, when Africans were in the holds of slave ships, there may have been Africans from various different parts of the continent of Africa, and they had different languages. But in the research and the studies that I've done, what I learned was that Swahili was like a common language. It was a language spoken all across the continent, and it was like a bridge type language where even if you spoke a different language, in fact, tribally, to understand one another, to be able to communicate with one another, to be able to trade with one another, and to be able to travel back and forth and communicate, Swahili was that link that Africans shared. So I think about Africans who were laying in the holds of the slave ships, and although they may have been from different tribes, they would have been able to communicate in the holds of those slave ships. And they would have had to been talking about what the fuck is going on and why are we in chains up in these ships? Where we going? What they gonna do to us? And after, a little while, they begin to realize that this wasn't like a voyage on a love boat or the Pacific Princess. And so when they would cook up their little plots of how they're going to escape, uh, how they're going to get out of this predicament, they probably had to use Swahili. And so, you know, just like today, just like it was on the plantation, it probably was the same way inside the holds of the ship. Somebody would say, listen, we got to fight, we got to kill them, or they're going to kill us. Somebody else might say, well, hold up, man. If they was going to kill us, they probably would have did it already. Maybe there's something else. Why don't we, like, see what they up to? Somebody else might say, well, who knows? It might be a okay situation for us, once we get to where we're going, and we can, navigate from there. And somebody else will say, yeah, that's right, man. Why don't we just wait, see where we're going? We got to get these chains off us at some point. Then we might be able to make a move, get back home. So we all know the stories of those voyages back and forth. And we know that, you know, those Africans who had that conversation, they probably never saw each other again. One probably wound up in Bermuda, one probably wound up in Santo Domingo, one wound up in Cuba, wherever. They had all kind of stops, all kind of destinations. But that same dynamic carried over onto the plantation because we know slaves were trying to get free off that plantation. We know about Denmark VC. We know about Nat Turner. We know about Dessalines. We know John Brown and his sons. Hooking up with slaves. So we know there was freedom attempts, but before that took place, You know what the conversation was. Yo, listen, man. We breaking out of here tonight. Is you coming? And somebody say, listen, man, you know we gonna get caught. I don't think we should chance it. And I don't want to get whooped, like old Jimbo got whooped the other day. And somebody else say, listen, man, we probably ought to just, you know, bide our time and wait. You know, some of the women got chilling, and some of them chilling is mine. I had a family here. You know, Master, he don't treat us that bad. You can get sold down the river for scheming and plotting up what you talking about. And then you had, some Negroes who was like adamant. Hell no. I ain't going no place. This is my home. All I know is being a slave. And, I work my ways up out that field. I'm driving the carriage now. Uh, Listen, I ain't going to tell on y'all, but I ain't going. So, y'all, good luck. And so now, you bring that all the way up to, you know, the the 60s and the 70s. And you got the militant era. You got the Black Panthers and things, the Black Liberation Army and all kind of groups popping up all over the place. Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, SNCC, all that. And what it reflected was the same conversation. This time, not necessarily how we gonna get free, because physical freedom has already happened. So now, what are we plotting for? What do we want now? We want full and complete freedom. Economic freedom, economic wherewithal, equality. We want police brutality to stop. We want to stop being the last hired and the first fired. We want decent housing. We want to live comparable to white folks. That's what we're fighting for. And then so you have the conversation. Well, let's take our freedom, brother. You understand? Listen, we can't stand around here begging and crying, you understand, and pleading to this white man to give us what we know we deserve. We got to band together, and we got to just take ours. Any means necessary. And you got the other brothers saying, listen, man, I say we just got to work within the system. We got to become a part of this thing, prove that we could be, viable, legitimate citizens, within the overall framework of this American system. And then that's how we can achieve some equality. Then you got some other brothers, listen, man, we need to just leave this country, break out, because they not ever gonna treat us as equals. You understand? They don't see us that way. Never did, never will. We need to leave. We need to go back to the motherland. You understand? And dig some roots there. We got certain countries over there. They'll take us. Let's get out of here. And so now here we are with one word that sort of encapsulates that whole history, and it's the one word that now either has us working hard as ever for full and complete freedom, or got us stuck. And that one word is reparations. See, 40 million in a tool introduced the concept of self reparations because 40 million in a tool uh, agrees with the side that says nothing's ever going to be given to us. And you know what I know that all the gains, all the progress that anybody can point to with regard to African Americans, black folks in America was earned. Blood, sweat, and tears, hard work. You know what I mean? The will, unity, boycotting, march, whatever it took, it was earned. No powerful white people got together and ever said, you know what, boy, we done did you niggas wrong for so long and jerked you out of your true inheritance and what you rightfully deserve in this country. And we you know what, we just go turn over 1/3 of this economy to y'all. Here. Bam. Um Nothing approaching that type of sentiment, that type of gesture has ever taken place, and it never will. And the reason why is because if any group of white people, how powerful, rich, I don't know what their status is, if they ever came up with such a scheme, 10 times more white people who will jump up and say, not on my dime. You ain't doing that. No, ain't no such thing taking place with our paper, with this economy, and with all this money that we put into it. It just ain't happening. So y'all can just stop that. And so, even though 40 million in the tool supports the traditional reparations quest because it's a legitimate one. It's justified. The case has been made. Reparations have been given to other people, Japanese interns and America advocate reparations for people all over the world, just not to us. And so while that fight continues, and that's the aspect of the whole reparations thing that we believe has us stuck, because what we also believe is that all we need to do is put our resources together under a plan of accumulating wealth as a people, and we can be wealthy virtually overnight. Now, if I have to put a number to that of years, 5 years, we'll be making some noise. 10 years, we'll be building things and regaining or taking control of our own communities. 20 years, we'd be on par with the richest white community that there is. I don't care if it's Little Italy, Germantown, Chinatown, anything. We'd be back to the Black Town, like they had in Tulsa, Oklahoma, Rosewood, other black communities that was thriving and got hit in the head by white supremacy. And so, what does full and complete freedom look like? Well, the one half is physical freedom. We got that. The other half is economic wherewithal as a people, so that we don't have to wish and want and beg and cry for anything that anybody else got and won't share it with us. We just go out there, purchase it, build it ourselves. we would also be in the position to police ourselves and our own communities, to protect ourselves and our own communities. Now, we know how shrewd and diabolical people can be in that upper echelon of the economic world, and you know, uh, people in positions to make laws. So we would really, really have to safeguard our wealth in such a way that it can't be swindled and taken away from us, or some bogus claims put upon us where people become legally justified and freezing our assets and you know things like that. Because let me tell you something: when black folks start putting together some money, that's exactly what starts happening in other quarters of the country. All kind of scheming starts taking place of either how can we take this money from black folks, or how can we swindle it out of them, or how can we just levy some false charges against them, like mail fraud, wire fraud, you know how they did Marcus Garvey, and then just take the money, freeze it. We'll call it illegal proceeds. You know, just like you could be driving down the highway, pull you over, you know, search you. You got a duffel bag full of money, bunch of $100 bills. They got laws in place that says that if law enforcement believes that that money is the result of some type of drug activity, they can take that money, confiscate it. Now you got to fight and go through all kind of court and legal battle just to get your own money back, if you get it back. So you know what I'm talking about. We rise, other people despise. They've never wanted us to have any part of this freedom. Not the first half, and definitely not the second half. But we have to get there. That's our birthright. So we can talk some more, you know, about certain things. But the last little piece I want to put on this is this. From the holes of the slave ship to the plantation to the upheaval of the 60s and all the way to right now, although our oppressors have always tried to appoint a head nigga in charge, there's no such thing. Any slave traveling on that ship who decided, listen, the minute these motherfucking chains come off me, I'm getting busy. And I'm going out, you understand, blazing. Because I don't know where they're taking me. I don't care where they're taking me. I don't know what they're going to do to me. But listen, I'm going for mines first chance I get. None of the other slaves, none of the other captives had the right to tell them, well, listen, brother, you can't do that. No. Your status is the same as mine. You got the same chains on you. So now if you decide that you want to let them just take them off, put them on you, take them off, put them, take you wherever they're going to take you, do it, you go ahead and do that. Same thing on the plantation. Yo, listen. I'm out of here tonight, man. Man, you can't. What do you mean I can't? There's no such thing. You can try to talk me out of it or talk some so called sense into me or however you want to frame it, but you're not the authority to say to me as a fellow slave, I can't try to escape. You understand? Don't be you the same one that sit around here complaining and crying about how you treated and you just whooped you and gave you 20 lashes the other day and this, that, and the third. And then you go try to tell me I can't break up out of here? No, that's not how it go. There is no HNIC. Never has been and never should there be. Because we're all in the same boat. See, so with regard to this whole reparations thing, like I said, if people want to try to litigate and convince the American government that they owe reparations to African Americans, particularly descendants of slaves in America, black people in general, because even if you wasn't a slave, even if you don't descend from slaves in America, you've been in this country long enough, guess what? You have been the victim of some of the tentacles of white supremacy, and, there needs to be some recompense for all that. And if you just got here and you think that they don't feel about you the same way they feel about those of us who've been here generation after generation. Listen, I will just tell you this. Your ass would have been in the back of the bus, too. So, spare me any of that, I'm different in any kind of way. No, you are part of the diaspora in this Western Hemisphere. And you may have caught your own brand of hell from white supremacy. Maybe with or without the chains, but you caught it. And you still catch it. And you might catch a break here and there, and you might, be successful. You might have a television show. You might do whatever. But you know, and I know, you're not looked upon any different. So, 40 million in the two may say, and we say it, as in the strongest possible terms to our people. Listen, man, we need to do this for ourselves infinitely more than America or anybody needs to give it to us. Now, if, and it's a big if, the government ever comes around to seriously contemplate some reparations, I don't know nobody that wouldn't accept it or take it. But consider this. Black people, particularly descendants of slavery in America, have been at this traditional reparations quest going on a good 160 years. Now, remember the numbers I gave you earlier? 5, 10, 20 years? If I'm right, and we can be wealthy as a people in just 20 years, while at the same time, fighting and, being in the good fight for reparations, HR 40, however you want to put it to them, and hope that, you can convince the government or, some powerful white folks to just hand us, what uh, is our just due, then all fine and dandy. But what I'm saying is this: that might take another 160 years. So you want to have your progeny, you want to have the generations coming behind us doing the same thing: marching, singing, litigating, begging, being a part of the system, playing the game as we play this molasses paste, upliftment plan or whatever they call it. What we're saying is that we need to pick up the pace, and we can speed up the pace infinitely if we just zeroed in on one thing as a people, and that is building wealth that we control and that we utilize to build our communities and to act and be able to act with agency on the American stage and on the world stage. So we're not for having our succeeding generations carry this on for another 160 years. But if we have to, keep that alive, then let's bring into existence our own. Just like the black folk brought in Black Wall Street. There wasn't no Voting Rights Act. There wasn't no Civil Rights Act or nothing in place back then. But they built wealth. They need those acts to build wealth. Here we got those acts, and we got all kind of laws in place that protect you, from all. You could sue people all over the place. But yet, as a people, we still broke. Now, I'm not going to begrudge any individual black folk who got money, who's wealthy, who's made something of themselves, pursued a dream, accomplished it, recognized, respected, living high on the hog. Oh no, I don't care. You earned that. That's yours. You deserve that. But here's the thing. We wasn't enslaved as individuals. We were enslaved as people. Now, just because you might have escaped all of the ongoing negative consequences, and modes of living that your people suffer, you pretty much are out there on limb by yourself. Is that where you want to be? Or can you, as an influential individual who is well respected and, you deserve all the props you get for the position and the station in life that you have. Nobody's asking you to divvy up your money with the rest of us, because we all just be broke again. You be broke, and the rest of us still be broke. No. What we're talking about is utilize your platform that you have to advocate and support and lend your credibility to a movement that wants to ensure everlasting wealth for our people as a whole. So, yeah, we'll, talk about this some more, but that's pretty much my thoughts on full and complete freedom uh, as of now. Uh, and we'll branch off into some different topics here and there. Um, but 40 million in a tool is always going to bring it back home to what is we going to do as a people. No, and nobody's saying that we have to be monolithic on everything. No, we have our differing views on things. We have different everything, different religion, different cars we like, different lifestyles, different everything, taste and food and music, and you know, don't be misled, you understand, and sidetracked by that monolithic bullshit talk. What I'm saying is we just need to be unified around one thing. We could be at each other's throats about every other thing. We don't have to air our dirty laundry in public, but we could disagree on anything. And we do. But what a lot of us do in this age of technology, and internet and YouTube and all that, we air our dirty laundry. We do our differences in the public sphere, in the public domain. We discredit one another left and right, and just have every other community just looking at us and say, "What's the matter with the niggas? All they do is kill each other, threaten to kill each other, fussing, fighting, and it's entertaining to others. And why not? Was that not one of the purposes? Was that not one of the things that, white supremacy found okay to let us do? Entertain them in any number of ways. So whether it be singing, dancing, fussing and fighting, that's entertaining too. The day that all that fussing and fighting and entertaining our oppressors come to an end, the day that all that comes to a screeching halt, that's the day we're going to find ourselves at the moment of truth in America. Got a lot of these white boys right now with all these little groups, these Nazis, skinheads, these America First advocates, all that. They making moves right now to not only second class us, we're already that, but to put us back under their foot in a very, very tangible way. So, that's something that we could be on the lookout for, and we need to. But what I'm telling you is this. We get our shit together. We put together this wealth building movement, and automatically we put together an apparatus that can protect us from outside attacks any way they come. Any way they come. And I'm going to also tell you this. We put together this wealth building movement in a serious way that it needs to be done. That's when we're going to see police shooting down black boys and men come to an end. That's when we're going to see uh, the George Zimmermans of the world uh, not getting away with nothing. That's when we're going to see all these Karens and Kens and whatever they call who think that they could just run up on any black person and start questioning your right to be someplace, live someplace, hang out someplace. Listen, man, we need to stop all this complaining and crying and pointing out and here we go again. See what happened? Just like yesterday I saw something on the internet that this black kid being bullied. He's standing up for himself. The video speak for itself. The white kid all in his face, and he put all his hand all in his face. Black kid, like, get your hand out my face, and bam, it was on. They fighting. Police come. What do? Listen, man, it's like automatic. It's like they programmed this way. It's like a part of the fabric of policing. Or what was they, mall police or whatever. Handcuff that black motherfucker and leave the white boy alone. That's just, second nature almost. But what I'm telling you is this. The day we build wealth in a serious way and have serious people among us standing up and advocating for that, that's the day. And those will be the days that you see all this other stuff start declining and come to a screeching halt. Police will think twice about running up in black neighborhoods, Billy Bang Bang, shoot first, explain later. Definitely no ordinary white person, run up in black neighborhoods, calling shots, giving orders, asking questions. They probably won't even come in the neighborhood no more without permission. And that's what white supremacy has always feared. Ever since Black Wall Street, they saw, even back then, if these niggas can have everything we have, guns and the whole nine, we gonna have to think twice about running up on them. That's why they had to bring in airplanes and the whole everything just to stomp that out. Because if that had stayed, and other black communities all across the country would have took notice and we can do this too. Bang, bang, bang. Guess what? Today, all these neighborhoods y'all call ghettos and the hoods and all that, they be thriving black communities. Because the model and the template would have been set right back then and there. And what I'm saying is we can do that again. And we need to start right now. Because in this age of small dollar donations, GoFundMe, all of this money being put together quick, fast, and in a hurry. We marshal that, you understand, and we put together a leadership council that's trusted and competent, and we just start building from city to city, from neighborhood to neighborhood. We can do it, all within the confines of the laws that exist now. See, that's why there's such an uprising against uh, voting rights now, because we all remember the time when, well, we don't want these niggas voting. And then once they had to, relent from that, and black folks is voting now, they had a little thing back in the days, and it's still some southern areas, even right now, where even if black folks can vote in numbers, the mayor is still going to be white, the governor is still going to be white, all the important real shot calling positions still going to be white. So they were able to, sweet talk black folks, and, you join this party, join that party. So now you split, and your voting power is diluted. Well, that ensures that one of the white guys running is going to win. Now it's gotten to the point where you haven't seen a black president. Governorships, slew of mayors, all kind of black mayors. So now they're seeing, hold up, we set this system up for us to stay in power and to occupy those positions of power. Now that they're seeing that people of color are now poised and positioned to occupy those positions all throughout the country, that's what the voting thing is all about, with these changing the laws and making it harder to vote and all that. That's what that's all about. They're trying to go back to a time when your voting power, even though you can vote, but it's diluted. We controlling it. You know what I'm saying? We doing what we want to do with the vote. Throw them out if we want to. If we need to get the person in that we really want in. So, lots of things that we have to take note of, and see if you try to focus on all of those and tackle all of those in various little ways and whatnot, which is admirable. You have people fighting all over the place, for the right things. But who's fighting to make black folk as a people wealthy? So we have all these issues that are legitimate issues and should be, countered or fought for or fought against. And when you have all that, it could become a distraction from zeroing in on the one thing that white supremacy fears the most. Black folks, descendants of slaves, people of color being wealthy. Because with that wealth comes power. The power to build your own communities and protect your own communities. The power to build your own businesses and protect your businesses. The power to circulate your dollars among yourselves. To build banks, to build hospitals, to build institutions. What do you think, the Negro Leagues wasn't an institution? Was an institution. But see, back then, they had to build. They were forced to build those institutions. It's funny that, you have to force somebody to do something or force them to prove that they're capable of building institutions. Why? Because you won't let them participate in yours. So that's the Negro Leagues and lots of other stuff that uh, grew out of Jim Crow, segregation and all of that. Black folks got to the point where they said, "Well, listen, man, these white folks ain't letting us, interact with them on this level, that level, this, that." And somebody obviously had to say, "Well, then let's just get our own." And that's what they did. And white folks was all too happy to see that. Because now you're not knocking at their door no more, talk about let me in, let me play, too, and da da da. They was happy you had your own over there. But then there's the shrewd ones who looked at that and said, hold up now. Them niggas amassing a whole lot of money. Them niggas is getting a little powerful. You see? So now the game is just so much slicker that it's like you can flash all of this bling bling and this black, success, throw all that out there uh, to make it appear that, man, black folks is doing fine. They doing well. You see all them diamonds they be wearing, and this is clothing and videos and this and that. Everything. Black folks, man, they got the black folks is in charge of colleges and folks doing fine, man. Folks, man. But if we're 40 million strong, but only 100,000 rich, wealthy, millionaire, billionaire, whatever, what does that say about black folks as a whole? So they're gonna, promote all the success, put all the individuals out there in front of us to see. But that don't represent us as a whole. That don't represent us as a people. So again, we weren't enslaved. We weren't Jim Crow as individuals. We were enslaved as a people. We were Jim Crow as a people. We need to build wealth as a people.